Welcome back to the Crypto's Key Conversation. Today's video, we're going to be covering a lot, so we're going to try to speed through a lot of this stuff. James K. Fallon is going to give us an update in regards to what's going on in the litigation within the Ripple versus SC case. Eleanor Terrett had put up this video with Chairman Gary Gensler and his view on Bitcoin and other digital assets, and him classifying Bitcoin as the only commodity. He won't speak on Ethereum. Johnny Deaton kind of gives his 2 cents on what Eleanor Terrett has to say. From Bitcoin Archive, the SEC chairman calls Bitcoin a commodity, so we're going to cover that. Johnny Deaton kind of has something to reference in regards to what's going on with the XRP holders and Empower Oversight and kind of the class action lawsuit and the group of decentralized community coming together to fight the good fight when it comes to the Ripple versus SC stuff. Some massive stuff when it comes to Brad Garlinghouse and Ripple's involvement in regards of their utility, their use case, and them solving a real world problem when it comes to the global standpoint, not just from state by state, city by city, company by company, or bank by bank, literally trying to change the world. So we're kind of talk about some of the insight and kind of where he's at and what had happened there. Blockwork says breaking FTX is interested in acquiring Robinhood. So this is a huge conversation we can kind of talk about, try to be streamlined about it. Moving on here. Charles Gasparino has something to say about what's going on with Coinbase and Coinbase giving conflicting answers in regards to what happens if they do undergo a bankruptcy and what's going to happen with customers, assets that are deposited on their platform. The huge talk of the town is Anonymous sending Luna and founder Kwon a message, and we're going to go through this message. I don't know if I'm going to play it or not, but we will definitely read what this person has said in regards of the message that they wanted to send to them. And then Altcoin Daily had put up this chart here analyzing crypto users versus the internet users and the rate of adoption and kind of what's going to happen. So quickly coming over here to CoinGecko, we're currently sitting under $1 trillion market cap. So we were just over $1 trillion market cap not too long ago, but now we're back at 981 billion. Currently down 1% for the day. If you come down here and look at Bitcoin, Bitcoin's sitting at 20,844, Ethereum sitting at 1,200, and then we have XRP sitting at 35 cents. If we look at 24-hour gainers, Tesla's is up 10.5%, Chili's is up 9.3%, and so on. So very small gainers. So if we come over here to the Bitcoin Fear Greed Index, you can see we're still in the double digits, which is better than being in single digits. We've seen it as low as 6, but we're still in this extreme fear range. There's still a lot of market uncertainty, and we're going to have a conversation about what's potentially can come that can be a huge catalyst when it comes to this space and truly, catapult us outside of this extreme fear range and get us moving back into the more positive range within the market. Coming over here, James K. Fallon had a quick update that he had put up. When was this? January 27th at 6 a.m. It says, the Ripple defendants have filed a letter opposing the SEC's continued efforts to seal its response to Amici regarding the SEC's expert, stating that the SEC's argument, quote, are on their face and shielding the SEC from public criticism. XRP Crypto Wolf says, if only the SEC and the government were as transparent as Ripple, then the country would be in a better place. 100% agree with that. And I want to thank James K. Fallon for always updating the community here. Eleanor Terrett had put up this video. What we're going to do is we're going to quickly play what Gary Gensler has to say here. Let's listen in.
Look, this is a highly speculative asset class. We've known this for a long time. The ups and downs of this speculative asset class, Bitcoin, and hundreds of other tokens. And many of these tokens offer the investing public, or the investing public is hoping for a return. Just like when they invest in other financial assets we call securities. And many of these financial assets, crypto financial assets, have the key attributes of a security. So some of them, they're under the Securities and Exchange Commission. Some, like Bitcoin, and that's the only one, Jim, I'm going to say, because I'm not going to talk about any one of these tokens, but sure, my predecessors and others have said they're a commodity. Working together, there's...
Long story short, him giving his, rah, 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 hoopla, all his stuff, all his roundabout answers. Clearly, there's some conflicting stuff here because just when he was at MIT and he was teaching, he was clearly stating that, Ethereum, upon their ICO, was classified as a security. And then when there's, 68,000, XRP investors that are in a class action lawsuit, Johnny Deaton, and they want answers, he can't even, let alone respond to any of the messages or respond to the members within the class action lawsuit. And you still have yet to come out and approve or say whether or not Ethereum, what Ethereum's security status is, whether it is or not. Obviously we had Jay Clayton and William Heyman giving the Ethereum free pass speech, classifying Bitcoin and Ethereum as commodities and not securities. But now we have our current chairman, Gensler, who's only speaking on Bitcoin and won't speak on Ethereum. Eleanor Terry says, this is the second time in a month Gary Gensler has stated Bitcoin classifies it as a commodity that should fall under the jurisdiction of the CFTC. He says, quote, my predecessors and others have said they are a commodity. His predecessor also said ETH is a commodity. Absolutely, and that's kind of what we've been talking about. She comes down here and continues, says, it's interesting that he refuses to acknowledge ETH status publicly, but has privately agreed with Senator Gillibrand and Senator Loomis' assertions that Ethereum is a commodity. And that's kind of why people are so frustrated. It's like, clearly they came out and pretty much threw you under the bus, stating that you confirmed behind closed doors, just like all these other behind closed doors deals with when it comes to Ethereum status and Ethereum in general. Behind closed doors, you're pretty much giving your stamp of approval, like, oh no, that's a commodity, but you can't come out and publicly say it. Even when you're asked about it, when it comes to the crypto community and when it comes to litigation wise, whether that's Jason Foster Empower Oversight coming at you or Johnny Deaton or whatever the case is. She continues, says, talk about confusion. Is this what Brad Garlinghouse meant by living in legal purgatory? XRP Crypto says, as much as I despise Gary Gensler, I don't think he would have gone after Ripple if it wasn't for Jay Clayton. Deep down, Gensler knows XRP is not a security. And Jono Grant says, I bet he coordinated with Clayton beforehand. They were all having talks, etc. So quite honestly, that's kind of where my head, I'm more of like on Jono Grant's perspective. Like someone had to have some sort of deliberation or conversation with him, especially when he was out there giving MIT, lectures, kind of talking how Ethereum status was a security, especially when it comes to the ICO. It was all coordinated. I mean, these I guess you could say powers at be aren't dummies. They got together and formulated a plan. The cool part is there's still people that were arrogant and try to gloat and brag, and they went out there and ran their mouths too much. Now you have, digital asset investor and the crypto YouTubers and the crypto community, the XRP holders, and you have Johnny Deaton and you have Jason Foster Empower Oversight. Everybody's coming at you now as a decentralized community because they see the wrongdoing and they're going to fight the good fight for this space and for themselves and for their family. And that's what they didn't expect. They didn't anticipate this. Moving on here, Johnny Deaton's talking about, he's responding to Eleanor Terrett's conversation here. Oh, real quick. He, if you notice, if you go back and rewatch this, how he kind of changed his tune and how he was saying, like at first he was just saying when retail investors invest, but he goes, oh no, when they hope to gain profit or turn a profit. Like he kind of tried to change his dialogue. No matter how he tries to paint it, the point is, it's like you can't classify everything as security because there's a lot of digital assets out there that aren't securities. They fall under commodities or whatever else. They're definitely not securities, but he's putting a blanket over everything. And that's what they would like to do, quite honestly. Johnny Deaton's responding to Eleanor Terry says, it's so obvious. Gary Gensler is on video multiple times saying ETH is a security while at MIT. He's on video saying he doesn't believe the SEC will give ETH a free pass. But Heyman and Clayton did give a free pass, but served Ripple and XRP as a regulatory sacrificial lamb. I mean, hands down, he hit it right on the head. And that's the cold part about it. And that's just the reality. Right here. So we're talking about how they're classifying Bitcoin as, Chairman Gensler speaking out publicly classifying Bitcoin as a commodity. And this is from Bitcoin Archive. It says, the SEC chairman calls Bitcoin a commodity, yet he won't approve a spot Bitcoin ETF like other commodities. Interesting. I mean, that's kind of how I view it. It's like, okay, well, if you're speaking so proudly and so strongly about it, what's the deal? Like, why haven't we approved a spot Bitcoin ETF? Why are there so many denials? With the grayscale, I don't know what day. I gotta remind myself to keep looking at what date it is. But I want to say it's the end of this month, and we're towards the end of this month here. But there should be some sort of ruling on the grayscale spot Bitcoin ETF and see whether it gets approved or not. And that's what I wanted to talk about. If there is a spot Bitcoin ETF that gets approved, I can definitely see that being a positive catalyst for this space to truly turn things around in regards of where we're at, as in being in the extreme fear range, being under $1 trillion market cap. If we get a approved spot Bitcoin ETF, that definitely could be that positive catalyst to kind of start turning the ship around and getting us going back up. So it should be quite interesting to see what happens. Johnny Deaton's showing some love to the XRP holders. Says XRP holders and those seeking truth. Every senator representative on the Banking and Financial Services Committee have all received a letter asking them to inquire about Empower Oversight's referral to the IG. We are asking these members to send an inquiry related to the conflicts. We are not asking them to do anything other than their duty as a member of the committee that oversees the SEC. Not one member should object or hesitate to send a letter asking basic questions about whether ethics rules were followed. How could anyone object to that? Ask them. And the truth is, I'm curious to see what's going to happen. Somebody down here says, I'll believe it when I see it. Like, quite honestly, yeah. I guess it's just a waiting game, to see what happened. Maybe they're all a part of this and, there's some sort of delay tactic that's going to take place because they know where this case is going to go and it's going to be merely interesting and we're not going to get, all the behind closed door deals. That all that stuff's not going to surface because there's too many powerful people involved. It's just going to have some sort of plan to roll this thing out as everything's ready to go. Who knows? I've been kind of looking at all different angles and all different outcomes that I've been getting from, legal background and people that are just, even listening to some conspiracy theorists and just kind of listening and engaging within the community on Twitter as well and on YouTube, just kind of getting different people's viewpoints and insights on things. And the more I kind of formulate kind of how I think things are going to play out, like it just makes more sense that I feel like there's more coordination happening than meets the eye, and I think there's a plan for everything in regards of what's happening with the status of everything, if that makes any sense. This is huge. Brad Garlinghouse. This says, huge thanks to, let me go ahead and make sure I get this right, the Monetary Authority of Singapore. This is, I'm going to say, SFI, and Point Zero Forum for hosting one of the most substantive conferences I've been to in a long time. Lots of progressive conversations about what good policy for crypto entails, together with the regulators at the forefront of making this happen. It says, I'm off to Collision HQ. I think we already put up some information on this in our past video, to speak in 2 sessions about Ripple's traction and regulation tomorrow. See you soon. So this was on January 22nd, but I'm bringing this up because despite Ripple being under an SEC lawsuit, them going after Brad Garlinghouse and Chris Larson, just all the negativity that's been thrown at Ripple and XRP, they're still continuing to scale. They're still continuing to build. They're still continuing to build their partnerships and expand and make sure that their utility and use case is out there for everyone to be a part of that wants to be a part of it, to change the world and how things move in regards of it goes even beyond cross-border remittances. I know that's their primary focus, but it's about transferring value, and that's kind of what they're doing. This is crypto, current, and future real economy. You have Monetary Authority of Singapore, you have Ripple, Crypto.com's there, and then the State Secretariat for International Finance. So some big stuff right here. And if we move on here, Lo Lu says, probably nothing. I'm currently attending the Point Zero Forum. So then they put this up here. I mean, you have Brad Garlinghouse sitting over here with the people that I was just kind of referencing. I mean, you just look at all this information that's up there. This is a big deal. Just to see, just like it, nothing's going to stop the train. You may slow it down, but they're still chugging along. Right here, breaking. FTX is interested in acquiring Robinhood, and it's exploring ways to do it. So I wanted to bring this in here because, did I already put the, I did right here. So let's listen to this really quick. Let me go ahead and pause this and play it back. Let's listen to this really quick.
So you've often talked about FTX as being the exchange of everything. But what does that mean?
Yeah.
I hope I didn't mess it up. The exchange of everything. So I'm bringing this up because, as you can see, FTX and Sam Bankman-Fried are providing a lot of support, or as you could say, bailouts, when it comes to a lot of these platforms that are struggling, especially after the Terra Luna and UST collapse. You have Celsius under it, BlockFi's under it, Voyager's under scrutiny. There's a lot of different things happening. Now you have, major companies like Binance, FTX, and so on, that have a lot of capital to do so, are starting to whether assist or bail out or look to acquire a bunch of these different whether it's a stock trading platform or a crypto platform, and you can start seeing what companies and what blockchain companies in general are going to be as they say, the next Googles and the next Apples in regards of our space. So it's just quite interesting to see see Blockworks put that up, and he's talking about the exchange of everything. Sam Bankman-Fried and FTX, man, they're on to something. So we got to keep an eye on kind of what's going on there. This is from Charles Gasparino. It says, breaking: Coinbase has conflicting answers on what happens to customer money if bankruptcy, which means depositors should consider the worst case. CoinDep trades at 66 cents on the dollar. That's 11% yield. You are essentially long debt in Chapter 11 along with other creditors. So, yeah. Stuff like this, I definitely don't like to see this, and I've been very cognizant about educating myself over the years on self-custodying, cold storage, hard wallets, like your Ledger Nanos, Ledger Nano S, whatever you want, or you get like a mobile wallet, like a Zoom wallet, if you're holding XRP and other certain assets that you can hold on there, or you get like a MetaMask or other different things that you can learn to just start self-custodying your stuff. And I know everything's not perfect, but when it comes to the best custody you can do, it's literally cold storage, like your own hard wallet, like a Ledger Nano S or something. So you want to do your best. If you're not comfortable with it, get on YouTube, start researching and start educating yourself on self-custodying, because this stuff is super scary. I mean, it's crazy that this is a reality. If they do go belly up, all of the customer stuff, all the customers' assets on there, they're going to be like the last ones to get anything, if they do get anything, which is kind of crazy. We'll kind of keep tabs on what's going on there. So this is huge. This is Anonymous sends message to Luna founder Do Kwon. So I'm not going to play it, but we're going to read it. It says, it's obvious to us that the Do Kwon has plenty of secrets, and he has been very sloppy in his execution. Multiple governments are conducting their own investigation into the scammer, but so are we. Anonymous is looking into Do Kwon's entire history since he entered the crypto space to see what we can, to see what we can learn and bring to light. There is no doubt that there are many more crimes to be discovered in your trail of destruction. Right here, Do Kwon. It says, if you are listening, sadly, there's nothing that can be done to reverse the damage that you have done. At this point, the only thing that we can do is hold you accountable and make sure that you are brought to justice as soon as possible. We are Anonymous. We are Legion. Expect us. Okay, so if you go in here into this Altcoin Hub or whoever else retweeted it and you listen to it, it's actually kind of creepy. It kind of gave me the chills at the end here where, we are Anonymous, we are Legion, expect us. Like, if I was Do Kwon, man, I'd be crapping the bed. I mean, this is crazy. It's crazy that this is a reality, a massive project that was in the top 10 just to be decimated to nothingness, people losing their lives, taking their lives because of the shadiness that's happened behind this, and millions and millions of dollars being siphoned out every month from Do Kwon and whoever else. Like, I'm glad that there's a group, or there's people, a group of people or people going after the truth, and I'm excited to see what they unveil in regards of this trail of damages or trail of destruction that this person here was talking about. So we're curious to see kind of what's going to happen here. It's super creepy though. Kind of reminds me of like a little horror movie. Right here. This is from Johnny Deaton, and I really wanted to talk about this. There's so much FUD going around. So there's a lot of different negative narratives out there. Obviously, we talk a lot about it. It's not just our market that's being decimated. It's markets around the world. You have geopolitical stuff, macro stuff that's of issues. You have Jerome Powell and the Fed and inflation, interest rate hikes in the United States. You have Russia and Ukraine, stuff going on. Stuff around the world, and then you have a lot of stuff within the crypto space in general, a lot of scams, UST, Do Kwon, Terra Luna, Celsius, BlockFi, other platforms. I can't name them all off the top of my head right now, but there's just so many negative things, so much FUD going around. Bitcoin's going to zero, or this is a scam, XRP's this, and Ripple's that, and Ethereum is this. The whole point I'm trying to make up here, that I'm trying to point out here, is amongst all that FUD, we're in this extreme fear range. From my experience, being invested in this since, late 2017, all the way up to this point, continuing to accumulate, the best time, and I'm not the only one that says this, the best time to accumulate, if you can, and you have the capital to do so, is when there's so many people that are so fearful. And if you have high conviction on what you're investing in, this is the time to do it. right here. So then when we get all the way over here, you're comfortable enough to take your profit, sit good on your money. And then you just kind of take what you need, be comfortable, let ride what you want to let ride for the long haul. And then as we start having more FUD, more negative stuff, the market cycle starts going away. We start going into a bear cycle. We're back in this range, FUD. This is the time you start accumulating again, and you really start building your yes, you say your generational wealth, if you will. But I'm bringing this up because we are so early. We're under $1 trillion market cap. I remember when this market cap was at 100 billion. I think it was less than 100 billion. So this is still almost 10x up from where I saw it at its lowest. And look where we're at now with decimation and tragic stuff happening within the space. But I'm bringing this up. There's so much FUD going around. Stay the course. If you have high conviction, keep your high conviction and have faith. It transitions into what Altcoin Daily had put up here. It says, so Wells Fargo just released a report stating Bitcoin is nearing the, quote, inflection point for the, quote, hyper adoption phase similar to the internet in the late 1990s. So we went through on this channel, we went through the research and the report that Wells Fargo had came up with, and we've already talked about it, but here's just another image here. So you can see the crypto users right here, and then you have the internet users. I'm telling you right now, the rate of adoption when it comes to the crypto space is going to just literally make this look like nothing. Just going to, because it's already happening. Amongst all the negativity that's happening, all the FUD that's happening, adoption is happening. More eyes are being, placed into this. You have companies like Ripple and, going around the world making partnerships with central banks and businesses and trying to solve a real world problem. You have, blockchain companies like FTX trying to acquire all these massive different other companies to, really, make a stamp and make an impact within the crypto community in general. And there's so many other things that's happening. So we are so early. Amongst all the FUD, just know that we're early here. And it may not seem like it because there's people that's been in Bitcoin, in the early thousands or hundreds or whatever the case is. It doesn't matter. In the grand scheme of things, we're down here. We still have all this to go. Years, decades of all that. That's all I wanted to talk about. I know it's a longer one, 21 minutes. I'm going to try to wrap it up real quick. Make sure you subscribe to Crypto's Key. We're going to keep providing great information for you, kind of have a conversation on what's going on within the space. Follow us at Crypto's Key 1 on Twitter as well. Appreciate all the support. With all that being said, stay strong out there. Be safe.